Hey everybody, this is John from aMTBer Products. I want to show you something real quick. Biker Products, and this will be the little beginning of the podcast here. I don't know where I'm going to put this in, but what do we have here? This is something I've been working on, I don't know. I think I came up with this about 6 years ago. And I made some batches of it, and you're not going to believe what this is, but what I just got done doing was a long-term storage test. So this stuff stays pretty darn good, stored in a bottle for a whole year now. And what this is, right here, what this is, you're not going to believe what this is. Hold on, I've got one hand here. What this formula is here is my brake rotor restore formula. That's what this is, and this is just a little sample bottle, and it's called Rotor Restore, spelled S-R-E-S-T-O-R. So I don't have labels for it yet or anything like that, but what this does is if you ever get any contamination on your brake pads or brake rotors, this will revive them almost instantly. So I'll get into more on how it works at some point. I didn't mean to stick it in the rotor restore, but I'm working with one hand here. So this stuff, it stays, the shelf stability of it is great. Just need to shake it up before you use it, and for a couple seconds. And what you do is you put this on your rotors and run, and then use your brakes, kind of like go through like the bedding, the brakes process, sort of like ride, brake, maybe about 5 or 6 times, and then rinse it off with water, rinse it off with alcohol, and guess what? Your contaminated brake pads that don't stop at all now stop on a dime again. So that product will be on the website very soon. If you're interested, before I get the labels in, the proper labels in, you can just send me an email and we can work out sending you a bottle if you need them right now. I know how it is. And then we've got, this is the shot bottles. We've got the 16-ounce shot bottles. Still working on better labels for these. They do just they have 4 times the amount of product in them for a pretty decent price. You're paying for 3, getting a 4th free bottle when you buy the shot bottle. And it comes with the applicator tip too. You can put it on just straight out of this bottle. So you also save a lot of plastic waste by not buying 4 of these small 4-ounce bottles. So if you buy a shot bottle and you need an applicator bottle, if you want one of these bottles, I can send you an empty one. Just send me an email to include that in your order. I'll send you an empty bottle so you can refill it 4 times. All right, we're going to talk about real quick just how expensive it is to make this stuff. This stuff has nothing but pure premium ingredients in it. There's no fluff in here at all. And I'm prefacing this segment here because I want to show you a couple things, okay? The price of this right now is $16.99. I'm going to try to keep that till the end of the year. And then I'm probably going to have to re-up on a lot of materials, and they're going to be more expensive. So I'm going to try to keep it on sale as long as possible. But the thing about it is that I want to show you why this is a $20 retail in a minute. Let's start here. Just want to show you what one of the leading manufacturers here, top product on the shelf. I want to show you some things about the product that are right here, and they're just right here under the section of composition of ingredients. Their product is paraffin, waxes, water, and emulsifiers. Now, I want to tell you something. Emulsifiers are not a lubricant. That's an ingredient that's a compromise. Okay, my product contains no emulsifiers. Okay, that would be an extra ingredient for no reason. But why are these emulsifiers in here with the water? Because the water content is 70%. with 5% emulsifiers. So 75% of the product isn't chain lube. So that means your 4-ounce bottle of this product here, and I don't want to keep saying the name over and over, okay? But there you can see it. 75% of the product is not lubricant. That means your paraffin and hydrocarbon waxes are only 25%. That's what it means. And you can see here that the percentages don't even add up. Okay? So if it's up to 70% water, and that might be their production variable. My production variable per batch is less than 1%. It's almost exact. Every batch is as exact as it can possibly be. And this is telling you there's a variable of 10% here. Right? Just the water content. And it probably depends on the quality of the paraffin and stuff that they get. Who knows? But I'm speculating there. But you can see here, 70 plus 5% emulsifiers is 75%. Now, why do I not use emulsifiers? Why do I not use it? Well, I found another way. I found a whole new way of making chain lube. Completely. And this is what happens when you start from zero, start from scratch, throw out everything you knew, and let's just rework this problem from the very beginning. How do we get dust and things to not stick to the chain? That was the first thing. How do we get this lubrication to last, say, 100 miles on my bike ride? Now watch this. The reason I don't have emulsifiers is it says here in stability and reactivity, the section 10 here, do not expose product temperatures below 5 degrees Celsius or above 35 degrees Celsius, as this may cause separation of the emulsion into components. Now, that's not very hot and that's not very cold. That's not even freezing. Okay? Do not expose product to cold temperatures. And 5 degrees Celsius is not even at the freezing point yet. My product can go below the freezing point. And it can go higher than that, but I don't recommend it. So you see here, the emulsifiers cause separation of the emulsion into components at these temperatures. This is why I don't use them. I wouldn't use them because I don't need to, because my product isn't mostly water, so I don't even need an emulsifier. That's also part of the reason. But I found a way to keep my product stable where it doesn't separate in the bottle. It stays very stable for years. Now, like I said, my product is probably the reverse. I don't want to say the exact numbers, but my product is more like 75% lubrication or more. It's actually more than that. Every ingredient is a lubrication component. Every single one. Okay? Right here on their official website, it says, a long-lasting lube does not collect dirt. The first successful wax in water emulsion containing enough wax to last for the duration of a marathon ride. So it's not telling you it's going to pass 1,000-mile on one application test. It's enough wax to last for the duration of the ride. This has been on their site since about 2019, after Sea Otter. That last data sheet I showed you, that was after the Sea Otter show I did. This is all their disclosure. I'm just pointing it out. So when a company like Zero Friction Cycling, I guess is the name of the channel, puts these products on pedestals, and then yet comparing products that are only designed for the duration of a marathon ride against products that were specifically designed to pass this 1,000-mile test, which I now think is about 1,500 miles, 2,500 kilometers. So they've upped the ante because too many other lubes were getting close to passing the test. So they upped the ante. They've re-engineered theirs maybe a little bit. And all you got to do that is put certain particles in that stay in a straight line and coat the machine. So it's not real world. Their simulation of outdoor on their test equipment is to add 5 grams of sand or dirt about 500 kilometers into the test or something like that. So it's not at the beginning of the test. It's a certain duration into the test. And at that point, most of the wax is shed away. So the sticky wax that will collect the dirt, the soft wax that's typically what's used in a crock pot wax, well, that's mostly gone now. And so it's a perfect opportunity to add dirt to it where it doesn't really stick to the chain. A freshly waxed chain in the sun is going to, stuff will stick to it. It's happened to me plenty of times. Fresh wax chain, you get out there, it's kind of dingy tan looking, like it's got dust particles have embedded into the wax. So, when you add the dirt, 5 grams. Zero friction cycling test is 5 grams of dirt over 1,000. I get 5 grams of dirt on my chain every mile. In summer, on many trails, they're completely dusty. It leaves a cloud behind you when you ride. So that's not 5 grams of dirt over 1,000 miles. That's 5 grams of dirt every mile or maybe more. So anyway, I'm pointing out this is all their disclosures. It's on their website, Squirt Cycling US here. It says here, designed to last for the duration of a marathon ride. Not designed to pass 1,000-mile zero friction cycling test, okay? So their new wax crockpot formula is designed to pass this test to put them on the top of the list. And they probably will. They'll probably be right up there because all they had to do is reverse engineer their stuff. Oh, they have this in here, and that coats the machine. It's riding on these little microscopic ball bearings, but there's no shifting, there's no water, there's not anywhere near mountain bike conditions going on. These are all, the best they can say is it's simulating a road bike ride. And we're mountain bikers. My stuff's designed by a mountain biker for mountain biking for your mountain bike, period. So, a couple of things real quick. The whole thing about the emulsion, the emulsifiers, and the emulsion that gets destroyed at 5 degrees Celsius. Let me see if I can find that shot again. And that would be the screenshot here. So cause the emulsion to separate into components, okay? Once an emulsified product is frozen, like paint, or in this case, this chain lube, that's 75% water. Once the emulsion bond is broken, because there's a process of emulsifying these ingredients. Once that's broken, it can't be restored. So I've stated a couple times now in other videos, and if my product freezes solid, you can bring it back with warm water. All the ingredients are inert. Every single one is inert. And boy, well, I don't want to tell you that because then they'll tip them off. So, but we'll get into that subject in the next segment here. This is stuff I can't talk about because I want to tell you guys, but I don't want to tell them because they've already stolen enough from me as it is. So the key point of this here, the takeaway, the thing that's not said here is once the emulsion is separated into components, it can't be put back. So even if you warm it up and shake it up, it'll still be it'll be clumpy, and you can still use it as a chain lube, but it's not going to be like a fresh bottle off the shelf. It'll be a little more difficult maybe to work with, and maybe it won't even stick to the chain as well. Don't know. But I would say if you do have a bottle of this and it froze, do what I've said, heat it up, and try that. That's the best I can offer you. I've never done it with their product. I'm just saying that it might help. But mine can go well below the 32-degree freezing point Fahrenheit because of the carrier I use. Alcohol does not freeze at 32 degrees. But the waxes do get more solid. So what you're doing is you're heating up those waxes, shaking up the bottle, let it cool down to room temperature, and it's like a brand new bottle. You cannot destroy the Lubenschleiden line or any of the Smooth Lube products, 5311, the Uber Clear, the Darkmatter. All of these can be revived if frozen without any issues by just heating them up in hot tap water, maybe for a half hour, soaking it in a bowl, shaking it up, you're good to go. Let it cool down to room temperature before you apply it. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about would be the water content that's disclosed of the 70 to 75%. 70% water with a 5% emulsifier, 75% non-lubricating ingredients in a 4-ounce bottle. That means 4 ounces, 75% of it's water, only 1 ounce is actually lubrication. So you're paying, what is it, $15 a bottle now? That stuff used to be pretty cheap, but I think it's up to about $15 a bottle, like all the other stuff on the shelf. And, you know, $15 a bottle, you're only getting 1 ounce of wax in there, and the other 3 ounces are water and emulsifiers. So my note here is to talk about the water content on the chain while drying. All right, I guess I'll say this. The water content of my product is so low, it's actually added to slow the drying process down. So it's in the single digit percentage. That's the best I'm going to say. It's less than, it's not even, it's a single digit percentage. Okay. And it's only there so the alcohol doesn't flash dry. That's the only reason it's there. Okay. It's to give you about a 5-minute working time. And that, see, I just said too much. Damn it. I want to give you enough time to work with the product, to work it in the chain, and then as soon as that process is done, it's starting to dry. That's, I said too much already. Damn it. But I'm going to leave it in. You know why? Because I want you guys to have the best experience riding your bike. And they could try to copy. There's another 24 things they're not going to, they'd have to figure out. Oh, which I didn't write this down, but let's talk about that. I've been looking at many of these other dry lubes, these other wax lubes online in the last week since this whole zero friction cycling crap got back on my radar. Most of these chain lubes are 3 ingredient chain lubes. Most of them are 3 ingredients. Some might have 4. A little stabilizer in there, stuff to, if you got 75% water in there, you need something to stop fungus from growing. So they might have some little stabilizers in there and other things like that. That's why it says 60 to 70% water, 25 to 35% paraffin and hydrocarbon waxes. So some of these waxes are oil-based. And in those, there could be the stabilizers that I'm talking about to prevent growth of fungus and mold and things like that. So my formula, that's not even an issue either. It's never going to grow. Nothing will grow in mine for sure. But back to this water content and why not only is it a ripoff to pay $15 for a 4-ounce bottle where 3 ounces of it is water. These water-based chain lubes take 12 hours to dry on your chain, up to 24 hours. That's 12 to 24 hours that water is sitting on your chain. Would you stick your chain in water overnight? No, it's not. Water is corrosive. My ingredients, there's nothing corrosive in mine. The drying process on the chain, there's nothing corrosive at all. This is all by design. None of this stuff was by chance. I thought this problem from start to finish over the course of 30 days on my road bike rides while I was training. And one day it just hit me. All of it seemed to just download into my brain at 1 second. And I went, that's it. That's the answer. Let's start working on it. I couldn't wait to get home to start working on this. I remember exactly where I was when it happened. I was on Mohone. There's a little town called Cornell. I think it's called Cornell. And it's a little town. I think there's like a wine place there and a little restaurant or something. very rustic looking. A lot of people go there on their Harleys on the weekends. I was riding through there. It's right across the street from the Ronald Reagan Ranch, the old Ronald Reagan Ranch when he had a ranch in Malibu. And I was right there on that road in front of that building, and it just hit me instantly. I know how to solve this problem. I can't wait to get home to start working on it and fix this for myself. And about 3 or 4 years later is when that was about 4 years later, I did the Sea Otter show. So the thing about this water content right here, the screen's actually showing it here by chance. That 70% water is sitting on your chain the whole time it's drying. That's a corrosive. That's in your pins. That's there. Now, I know there's wax there and stuff, but it's still adding a corrosive to your chain for 12 to 24 hours until you ride, or however long it takes for that water to fully dry. That problem is not even a factor in my chain lube because I use all premium ingredients, and it's not water and emulsifiers you're buying. I'm not selling you a $15 bottle that's mostly water and emulsifiers. So the thing about my product is it is very expensive to make. And going through the disclosure of what's in these squirt products here, right here, you can see the percentages. Well, we know water is free, basically, for all intents and purposes. 3 ounces of water is free. The emulsifiers that make up 5%, I say that's probably about a penny. And then the paraffin and hydrocarbon waxes that make up somewhere around 1 ounce of the 4-ounce bottle, I'm going to say that at extreme wholesale rate, it's probably, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say a quarter, but it may be half of that. So you're paying for about 26 cents worth of product. And right now on Amazon, this long-lasting bike chain lube for all chain types that was designed to last for one marathon ride is, let's see how much it is, $15.68. So now the bottle itself costs more than what's in the bottle. My bottles are made in America, and most of the components are made in America, the label, everything else. The only thing that's not made in America is the actual seal cap. The seal itself comes from China. And I don't know why I can't get it made here, but I would think that these bottles are not made in America because this is not an American company. I'm trying to see if I can blow up the product itself. So if you get bottles like these made in China, it might be a fraction of what I'm paying. So it's probably somewhere around 30 to 40 to maybe 50 cents a bottle, where my bottles basically cost double that. But I'm not doing anywhere near the bulk that Squirt is doing. So while we're on Amazon here, there's my SAG card for $10.99 on Amazon, free delivery. So yeah, I mean, this is what's out there. This is one of the top marketed products that's not a zero friction cycling product yet. I don't see how they'd want to get involved with a $15 chain lube. Zero friction cycling is into selling you $50 chain lubes. Okay, so that seems to be the case. I know they have the drip bottle, but that's assuming you're going with their wax system. It's really a niche market that is there. The problem is that people like even my reviewer, Granny Gear, who did the 6-year review on his latest video. I'll put the link in the description. He's even taking notice of this channel now. So the mystique about this channel is kind of is out there in the forefront now. And people are leaving these comments. My very first vlog number 1, was about the comments that are left in comment sections. It's like there's a lot of trolling going on in comment sections, just like the Shimano SRAM thing that went on with the brakes about 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's the same thing happening now, and these sort of marketing tactics are what they have to resort to promote an inferior product. And I'm particularly talking about zero friction cycling and their 1,000-mile test and the products they say are number 1, 2, and 3. And we covered that in a couple of videos, a couple of vlogs prior to this one. I really do hope this catches on, because This particular segment of the bicycle industry products that you have to buy after you do your initial purchase, you have to buy chain lube, you have to buy tires, you have to buy sealant, brake cables. There's some wear and tear parts on a bike that are sort of often need to be replaced, and chain lube might be the number one. It's something that you put on every ride or two, in the best case scenario. Every ride, every two at the most. If you want to go longer than that, that's your choice. It's your bike. You can do whatever you want to it. But because it's one of the only consumable products used regularly, that seems to be why there's so much heat on this topic of literally companies putting up YouTube channels to slam everybody else as a marketing tactic, when their bottles contain, well, this product here I proved is only about 25 cents worth in a bottle. Now, the Silka drip lube and the Ceramic Speed drip lube, I can tell you right now, unless they're buying that $150 a gram nanoparticles, unless they're doing $150 an ounce nanoparticles or whatever it is, okay, which there is no data that actually helps. Those nanocarbon molecules are too small to even be an effective lubricant on a bicycle chain. The tolerances on a bicycle chain are not tight enough that you need a nano single atom molecule to cause lubricant. Now, if you stack a bunch of them up in some wax, yeah, but the bottom line is that you're really just riding some expensive wax at that point. A particle that is a fraction, like a thousandth of a micron or smaller, is not going to do anything. It's the carrier that's actually lubing the chain. I can get into that. We can get into the actual numbers, but I use particles that are within the 0.5 micron range to the 0.2 micron range, and that's the way it is. And that's what I'm going to tell you, because there's more to it than that, and that's where I have to cut it off. But the bottom line is that you're free to do a spectrum analysis on my product. You'll see what's in there. And you're free to take a look at the ingredients on the side of a can of Coke, too, and try to replicate that in your kitchen. Good luck. Okay? The ingredients for Coca-Cola have been published on the side of the can for 100 years. And the ingredients in my chain lube will come up on a spectrum analysis. Anybody wants to do it. Good luck trying to put those components together. Good luck. There's over 1 million. Once you see the list of things in my lube and can categorize each one, and it's more than 3 ingredients. There's over 1 million possible ways to put these together. So good luck, guys. Been doing it for 9 years and nobody can duplicate it yet, and I'm not worried about it at all. On that note, this is getting along. I want to go into another segment here, but I'm running out of time for today, so we'll pick this up on another time. I hope you got something out of this. I've gone over my notes here. I think I've covered most of the topics, but I want you guys to try my product at least once, and if you, after one bottle, aren't sold, go ahead and use the stuff that's $16 for 1 ounce of lubricant. Go ahead and use the stuff that's $40 and only get you 50 miles on a dry, dusty trail. I'm talking about the Silka dry lube that is their supplement to their crockpot stuff. I just can't believe the deception in this field of mountain biking is beyond anything else. You don't see this with tires or grips or pedals or frames. You get some people hating on Trek, some people hating on Yetis, you get some people hating on a few different brands, but nothing like this. And honestly, if I had known this 10 years going into this to solve this problem, I might have considered not even doing this and never going public and just kept this stuff for myself, because for me to have to defend my product against these frauds that are clearly just a bunch of liars, and I'm talking about zero friction cycling, okay? Bunch of liars and a bunch of cheap products on the market. Cheap crap with a skewed test that's so deceptive it takes somebody like me with 30 years of marketing to actually see it and attempt to try to explain it to you what's really going on. If I had known I'd get myself into all this over frickin' chain lube, I probably never would have done it. I honestly wouldn't have, because I've got ideas way bigger than this. I've got other ideas that are way bigger in the medical field. I can't even talk about it. Not allowed to talk about it on YouTube. I've got bigger things, better things to do. And I would like to give this a few more years to see how it goes. And that's it. I'll always make this for me and my friends. And I'm going to put the brake rotor stuff on the site too. Hopefully people will try this out. I'm going to get some fancy labels done. I need to sit down and do some artwork. And if you want a guitar pick, let me know. I've got a few thousand of those too. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Have a great weekend. Get out on your bike and ride smooth with some Smooth Lube or Darkmatter Lube and Schleiden formulas. All right.